this dude proceeds to tell me, nice kid too. He was 32 years old, so he's not a kid. He was an adult, and we start talking, and he just like had a nice demeanor. He wasn't out to, he didn't have a chip on his shoulder, and he just was kind of just a nice, soft guy. And we start talking about, production stuff and in this world I live in, and we're on the same page, man. He was sharp. Seemed like he really knew what he was doing, and he has some experience. He proceeds to tell me that he is a card-carrying Satanist communist from California. And I told him the results of that. I said the direct results of that, of Karl Marx and the communist revolution, starting with the Bolshevik Revolution, was, I go, 100 million people are dead, man. And I go, that's just Russia. I go, then they copied the same thing in China right after this. I go, communism, Karl Marx, mass to socialism, like California. And I said, there was this other guy too, I said, who was able to gain power with a socialist revolution. And he looked like this. And his name was this. He's like, he didn't know what to think, He was all proud of what he was doing. And hey, man, that's cool. If that's what you believe in, and if you can stand on that and you can translate that into modern society and have that group, that tribe work together, and also work with other non-satanic communist, Karl Marxist, California-minded socialism, then that's cool, man. Like, that's why I was like, I still was down to hire the guy. You know what I mean? Seriously, I can cross over. I can reach across the aisle. Like, that's the point, is I'm willing to be able to sit in the pocket with someone like that and actually have a conversation, because you know what? It's an opportunity, man. It's an opportunity for me to kind of like test my own sense of what I think and how I think things kind of are and should be. What I realized after he then told me he's part of the LBGT tribe also, which is totally in line with the Satanic Communist Socialist Revolution that's been playing out in California for a very long time, you guys. So just, Los Angeles is the heart of that movement, and it always has been. So that's just real. That's where my mom comes from, and she comes from old Hollywood, and around a lot of that old, very, very elite people, and very familiar with it. And so like that is permeated into the youth culture, not just now. This really started happening in the 60s when my mom was coming up in Los Angeles, and her brother, my uncle, and my aunt, they were in the heart of it. He was sharing his beliefs, but he wasn't trying to shove them on me. And I think, that's a key point. It's like all of a sudden, he was more in touch and more in tune with his path of curiosity and not knowing, but having some points that are making sense to him based on how sick our society is. And, there wasn't, I'll put a typical Christian right next to him, and there wasn't really any difference. I know that I'll get messages that, oh my gosh, how could you say that? But, when I look at the lived examples of most people and how I lived myself out, how I lived growing up in a different ideology, which was no God, with people who really gave a lot, man. And they didn't have a lot of hypocrisy, really. You know, we had our own normal family dysfunctional stuff. There's no doubt about that. But relative to the average family, like, no way, man. My parents gave a lot. They still do. I have a special needs sister who, you know, my dad's 85 and cancer's got him, man, and he's battling cancer, and he wakes up every day taking care of my baby sister, you know. So like, talk is cheap, dude. Talk is hella cheap. The ideology of Karl Marx and what happened in Russia, using Russia as in Stalin as an example of totalitarianism that starts out being called socialism and communism and all of that. And I said, you know, this person lived in it, and she wrote about it, and had more importantly, developed a lived philosophy from experience. And she was very intelligent, you know, but her family had all their stuff, and they had a little bit of stuff. They didn't have a ton, but they were pharmacists, and, you know, they were your classic Russian Jews. And the first thing that Stalin went after, you know, wasn't to protect the Jewish people or the Christians or anybody. He went out and they killed them and took all their shit. That's how it happens. You know, so a passive Christian is just as bad as a satanic communist in America. I'm building a tribe of people that, you know, are in line with me. Me and this guy, you know, I ended up passing on him and passing on the whole thing because I'm too old, man. I can't deal with that shit. It's because the bottom line is he's conditioned in the way that he is. He is married to a LGBTQ they. I mean, I could go on and on, dude. And it's cool, but the bottom line is there's just too much entitlement and victimization in those ideologies. And so ultimately how it affects business and more importantly, just the day-to-day working relationships, there's too much conflict there. So I choose to work with someone who's more in line with my way of thinking and my belief system, more importantly, you know what I mean? I love outside perspective. So that's why I have a team, and I bring in diverse people because of that, you know, diverse experience and ideology, all that kind of stuff. But the core more and more needs to be in line with doing the right thing based on the right foundation, you know. And that's the results are, you know, someone can look at it as a result, and that's kind of how I look at it. I'm like, man, that's in line with a bigger thing. That's good. You know what I'm saying? That's being led with love and action of passion. You know what I mean? Really putting in the work for a good cause and doing good work with good people. People can call that whatever religion and whatever, all that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, you know, it's about love, and it's about, you know, living that example on a daily basis. And that is so not easy to do, but that's the goal. You know what I mean? And I'll worry about all the titles later on. I'm just worried about doing the right thing, man. And I wish, you know, more people did, but growing up since a kid, it's not like that in this world. And the more we shove and accept, mainstream folks accept this slow erosion of good morals and believing in something outside of ourselves, bigger than us, we are sliding into a satanic communist California mindset, man. And it's modern Christianity. So that's my thought for the day, man. It's great. I love meeting new people, and I love hearing such different perspectives, and that's what life's about, man. And then be able to make some sense of it and share it and be able to, you know, help somebody through just the way we live, you know. And that's what it all comes down to. So hope you guys have a great day. I know I will. I'll be sharing more very soon, you guys. All right, take care. Bye.